Hello, my Libra friends. This is Dr. Shiny for a general tarot reading for the month of April. Welcome, and um, also I'm considering whether or not to go to 2 readings a month instead of just the one and do like a mid-monthly reading. So please let me know if that's something that you would like, or if you think one a month is enough. And I'm going to get straight into your reading today. So your current situation, you have the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands represents sort of announcements, bringing brand new opportunities, a new path as well. This is a new path to a vision or dream or something like that. And this is sort of brought on spontaneously. And so this is what's the basis for your current situation. What you have crossing you is the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords represents sort of conflicting thoughts. So this isn't necessarily as big of a battle as it can be seen as. This is sort of a battle of images. This is a battle of politics in a way. Like, do you think it would be better to do it this way, or do you think it would be better to do it the other way, right? And so it's a conflict that is incredibly healthy, but doesn't always look that way. And if you can't find a way to look at it in a healthy way, to look at it in a positive, like the other party has good intentions, if you kind of chalk them up to the enemy bin, what you have in the future is the Three of Swords. And the Three of Swords is heartbreak, right? This is specifically heartbreak that, or the feeling that accompanies heartbreak, that it's not necessarily like a bad situation or a breakup or something like that, but what it is the sadness that is associated with leaving one path behind, right? So what that's saying is, if you continue this conflict, the argument over thoughts here, over best ways to move forward or best images, if you continue to see that in a negative way, then it's going to make it impossible to reach any sort of a common ground, right? It's going to make it impossible to compromise, because uh, the initial way a situation feels is often dictated by how strongly the other party is asserting their point, or getting defensive or offensive. They can immediately lash back out, and it can become a battle of two extremes, and then there becomes no hope of meeting in the middle somewhere. So you have to make light of situations rather than intensify them in order to work through them in a positive way. I mean, if you want to just get on the internet and troll people and just scream at them all day, more power to you, but don't expect to change anyone's mind that way. All you're doing is really feeding the people who already agree with you more of their own crap. You know what I mean? So don't do that, because that will lead to heartache. But also, this suggests that in the future there will be heartache regardless, because when we create these images in our mind, they have to go away in some way anytime we don't get them perfectly like we wanted them. So they have to be altered, and that old vision is sort of dying. It sort of dies out, and a new one forms in its place. But it's very easy to feel grief and remorse at the death of those visions, of those ideas. So it's something that you have to sort of have some self-reflection time to be able to manage, to be able to realize the extent that it's affected you, that type of thing. What's got you here, or what's been in the past events that have led to this, are the King of Wands, which is somebody who is able to create their vision through the help of others, through inspiring another person to and not necessarily subtly influencing them, but giving them some direction, um, giving them some vision, which creates a sort of alliance. And this is what got you to the current situation. So I feel like the conflict that you're in on the Five of Swords here is, like I said, a healthy conflict. I feel like it's with somebody who ultimately is not your enemy. It's somebody who you really do have a lot to gain from having a positive relationship with. What we have for the foundation of your current situation is the Nine of Coins. And the Nine of Coins represents sort of a couple things. It's abundance, success. It's very near the end of cycles in the material aspect, and so it's a point where everything as you see it around you in your world is getting really, really close to being how you want it, and it's a matter of appreciating that and showing the stage is going to be past that you're in right now, with gratitude, with learning that everything is great as it is and doesn't need to be a perfect way that you have an image of in the future. And so that's the foundation of this. It's to sort of like fly higher. See how the figure is on the bird there? It's to sort of fly a little bit higher and look at things from a bigger perspective, and count and look at all that you have that's good, that you didn't have before, or that you've accomplished. And that perspective has a way of making you a little less sad when you have to navigate the futures of letting go of old visions and old parts of yourself and old things. You know what I mean? What's on your mind is the Seven of Cups. This is your higher thoughts. This is where your conscious attention lies. And this cups are the Seven of Cups specifically indicates that there are a lot of people, a lot of influences around you that are telling you that you want all these things, and you're sort of listening and trying to figure out what you do want. But what's the central idea here is that you are not going to be well served by listening to any of these ideas. That you have a balance of emotions right now that will allow you to sort of navigate a situation totally in the present, and by thinking about the future or possible scenarios too much, or listening to what other people say about them, or worrying about what other people say, it's going to be like a trap for you. It's not going to lead you to the place you want to be. It's going to lead you the opposite direction. Okay, so it's just about sort of like blocking out those external influences, because really none of them have the best interest at heart. They're all trying to seduce. They're all trying to. It's like a snake. It's like the devil, that type of thing. I would say the Seven of Cups is very similar to the Devil card. It's not got as much of a singular purpose or one entity influence. It's sort of everybody working together, but that's very much how the Devil operates in my experience. So to me, the cards are very similar. But your advice for the current situation is the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords indicates a need to be covert, right, or to get away with things. What this might mean is that there's a need to sort of suppress your true intention, not because that's normally a good thing, because I wouldn't say it normally is a good thing, but I do have to grant for everything in moderation. So this could mean that you are being compulsively honest, to the point to where you're being honest for the sake of being honest, and not because the subject needs to be brought up yet necessarily. So maybe put some effort into knowing what or how selectively revealing your intentions, your thoughts, your ideas in a controlled and slow manner can sort of help you be able to cooperate with others, because you have to you're never going to meet with another person who's really, really far away from your ideology. You can easily meet with someone who's really close, right? So if you find a way to navigate the spots to where you're really close, you can ride a situation out a little bit and get a better feel for how you can navigate it. And you can get through the situation easier than if you just dump everything out in the open right away. So this may be a situation where this is the case, where um, there you should sit back and sort of watch and wait, and I don't want to say hide your feelings, but selectively reveal them, um, with purpose. Your current environment is the King of Cups, and this indicates that somebody in your environment is totally in control of their emotional state, able to, and well, control of the emotional state doesn't necessarily say at all. This person gets emotions. They feel them very, very deeply, but they don't have to move a muscle. They don't have to flinch uh, to experience those emotions. They experience them inside and they let them go, and then they decide on how they're going to act after that. You know what I mean? So they are actively using the emotional state to navigate or to influence other people, to teach other people how to be, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. This person could be teaching people how to be who they want to be, or this person could be teaching people how to be more like him. So, but regardless, it's a person who's in probably a lot more of a sound emotional state than you are right now, because this is in your current environment. So it's somebody that you should most likely seek advice from, seek vision from, information, ask him questions rather than telling him statements, and see what his answers do to your thought process, to your psyche. You know what I mean? There's a lot of help to be had from this character. Your fears card is the Knight of Coins. And the Knight of Coins is about a sort of stubborn energy. This is saying that it's got to be done a specific way, that there has to be a procedure followed. It's in your fears position. This would mean that you're probably afraid that somebody is going to be stubborn my way or the highway, and that may be part of where this tension comes from, where the creative conflict or the conflict of thoughts is coming from, because you're afraid that it's going to be his way or the highway, and he's afraid it's going to be your way or the highway. So if you can come to a place where, and again, please superimpose the genders in this however you need to make sense. It's not necessarily a relationship. It could be between you and a coworker. It could be between you and a boss. It could be a relationship. It could be you and like a sibling or a brother or something like that. But I have to sort of come to a picture in my head to be able to explain the situation out a little bit. So sometimes I fall into these pronoun usages which suggest a specific storyline, so take the storyline with a grain of salt. You're looking for the trends to be meaningful in a way. So what you're looking for here is a fear that you have that is based in stubbornness, right? So that's either going to be that you have a fear that you are being too stubborn, or you fear that somebody else is going to be stubborn, right? So that's how that works. And it's also, it's not just stubbornness. This is a person who knows that he's right, who knows that there's a right way to do something. And when a person is in that level of conviction, there's not always a way that you can sway him from his idea or opinion. And so it can be difficult to confront the person even if you know he's going to be that way, because you just sort of want to spare yourself the pain. You don't want to just rip off the Band-Aid and go through it. You're like, let me live here in La La Land a little bit longer, or something like that, right? So you fear kind of facing the boss because he's a little bit of a stickler, you know, he's a little strict, or that kind of thing. What the overall situation is for you is the High Priestess. And this is a card that represents an aspect of the Divine Feminine which deals with knowledge, but this isn't just regular words on paper, old facts knowledge. This is knowledge of like how things work. This is knowledge of like sacred relationships and things like that. And it's born of intuition. This isn't something that you can get just by studying books, no matter how much you try. You know what I mean? You're going to study and study and study, but there's something else that has to be mixed in, and it's experience and intuition and gut feelings and that type of thing. And that creates this divine knowledge, this divine wisdom, to where you understand these cliches and proverbs and all this stuff around you to be more meaningful than just, you know, overused little idioms and things like that. But they have a teaching purpose behind them. They have constantly all around you is information that can tell you like the best way to go forward if you just sort of learn to pay attention to it, to focus in on that wavelength. And this is a lesson that you're being learned or taught through this situation, that you know what's right from within your heart, not from within an image that's in your head, if that makes sense. So stop following the images that are like leading you astray, that are leading you to sadness and things like that. Stop following those and learn to follow the ones that your heart truly wants, truly desires. And that's sort of a easier said than done task, but this is meant to be a way for you to focus in on what the problem is and how to figure it out. So great reading for you, my Libra friends. Hang in there. It looks like maybe you're a little worried about some things, and that worry can be generating the very problem or darkness that you find yourself in. So if you can find a way to take your mind off of that and to search for the happiness that you have in each situation, that's going to be the only way that you can really dissolve your problem. You're not going to be able to face them directly, because this is an internal thing. This is a perspective thing. So this is going to be about learning to see the positives and learning to be grateful for what you have, and learning how amazing it really is right now and how you should enjoy that, you know. So that was a great reading. I will see you guys next month. Let me know what you think in the comments. Till next time, bye-bye.